After the way last season ended, I was thinking about putting my name into the transfer portal, and the two schools that I heard back from the most were Georgia and Clemson. I didn't take the Georgia offer because they had a QB at the time, and I wasn't interested in sitting on the bench for a whole year. I was interested in Clemson the same reason I was interested in Georgia. It looked like they were a QB away from a dynasty, but they decided to go with their other guy. These are my stats from my freshman year here. So as you can see, we had a 198.4 QBR. We went 117 for 172, 2,264 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, a whopping 11 interceptions, which I'm gonna be working on going into my sophomore year. Average yards per game 188.7, completion percentage 68. So over this time in the offseason, I thought about it and I decided that I was going to stay one more season at Arkansas. The coach promised me that we were going to have a better year, and we brought in a ton of recruits, and we actually had a chance to compete in not only the conference championship but the national championship this season. So right here in our first game of the season with Arkansas, I'm going to step back in the pocket, roll out to the right, see nobody open, and I'm going to walk into the end zone for a touchdown. Right here on 1st and 10 in the second quarter, we're going to be in the red zone. I'm going to drop back to throw, and I'm going to see my man R1 on an out route right here for a touchdown. With the game tied, I'm going to drop back to throw right here, and I'm going to hit my receiver across the middle for another TD. We started this game off pretty slow, but towards the end, we started to get the hang of it on offense. Is right here, I'm going to use my legs to score yet another touchdown. Right here on 1st and goal, after our defense gets a huge stop, I'm going to fake the handoff and walk into the end zone. I'm going to get hit late here, which is pretty questionable. After scoring a touchdown, to get back at that defender who hit me after the whistle, I'm going to throw a 2-point conversion. We're going to come out of our first game victorious, which we really needed considering how last season ended. Here we are week 2 facing off against FCS Midwest. We're actually the number 6 team in the nation now. As I roll out here and hit my receiver on this comeback, he's going to slip right by a defender for a TD. Right here on 1st and 10, I'm going to drop back on this play action and throw it straight over this defender's head for another touchdown. And right before halftime here, I'm going to make a horrible read and throw my second interception of the game. Right here on 1st and 10, we have some more questionable play calls as 4 verticals is being called in the red zone. But I'm going to make something out of nothing here and hit my running back, who's going to get in for the touchdown. Once again, some more questionable play calling as on 3rd and 8 in the red zone. We're going to call 4 verts again, but I'm going to use my legs to get in the end zone and score. We're going to come out of this game victorious, but even though there is some stuff that we might need to clean up next week before heading to our next game, we got the dub this week, and that's all that matters. Right here against Northern Illinois on our first drive, I'm going to hand it off. For some reason, our defense can't get any stops, but I'm not going to let that affect me as I throw another touchdown. Right here in the second quarter, I'm going to drop back from a play action fake. I get a lot of time in the pocket. I'm going to deliver a strike to my receiver who's going to walk into the end zone. Right here before halftime, I'm going to step back in the pocket, and I'm just going to launch up a prayer right here to my receiver. And I don't know what the DB's doing, but my receiver is going to go up and make a great snag for a touchdown. We're going to walk out of this game victorious. Another home victory for us, which is great going into next week where we have to play Georgia in UGA. We jumped on Georgia with an early 7-3 lead, and right here before halftime, I'm going to run into the end zone untouched. Later in the game on 2nd and 7, I'm going to drop back to throw, and I see my man deep, and I'm going to let it go while I'm getting hit, and I'm going to deliver the dime for another touchdown, making our lead 21-3. And we're actually going to beat Georgia here 21-11 We had an amazing game. 248 passing yards with 2 touchdowns. Also a touchdown on the ground with 51 rushing yards to back us up. That is our first signature win here at Arkansas. We're number 3 in the nation now, facing off against Texas A&M. And in our first offensive drive, I'm going to walk into the end zone. This was a really back and forth game here. So on 1st and 10, I had no option but to dial up a dot to my receiver, who's going to walk into the end zone for a touchdown. We found ourselves down 10 in the 3rd quarter, but me activating the clutch gene, I'm going to throw a touchdown right here to make this a 3-point game. Unfortunately, Texas A&M did score, so I have no option but to go back and get a touchdown on my own. And right here, I'm going to heave this pass deep, and my receiver's going to come with a great catch. And to cap off this drive, I'm going to step back, and I'm going to use my legs to take off. I'm going to make one man miss and stroll into the end zone. Our defense stepped up and made a big play to give us the ball back. So right here on 1st and 10, I'm going to throw it across the middle to what I thought was a touchdown. But a play later, I'm going to run it in the end zone myself for the game-winning touchdown. This game felt like my Heisman moment for me, as I beat a ranked SEC team on the road and had a great game to back it up. I hope the committee is seeing the same thing, so at the end of the season I can be in New York holding up the Heisman Trophy.